Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Baseball Reference Deep Dive with Zany Baseball, where we go into the archives of baseball reference, we type in random in the search bar, and we see what we can learn. Last time we got an old game between a couple of older teams, the Cleveland Naps and the then Boston Red Sox. We got a little bit of information on Tris Speaker as well as Nap Lajoie, trying to figure out if the Cleveland Naps name took any reference from their former player manager. We got a little bit of information on that, as well as some lesser known players in that 1910s era. And we're going to type in random today, and we'll see what we get. Is this another box score? Ooh, okay. Oh, baby, we got a Pirates game. Unfortunately, this is before I was born. However, I am somewhat familiar with these types of teams. Hey, look at that. The Buccos got a W. This is at the old Three Rivers Stadium. This is one of the last games ever at Three Rivers Stadium. It's against the Reds. It was rescheduled from rain from previously, so we might have some interesting roster moves in this game because sometimes players are not on the same team at that point. So this would have been well before the trade deadline, and then we would have gotten this in late September, so maybe some waivers claims and stuff like that. All right, I'm going to try to channel my inner Pirates fan and figure out who the heck pitched in this game. If there was who's their starting pitcher? Okay, let's see. So I started watching Pirates baseball around 2005. I was very young when I started watching. The pitching staff included guys like Paul Maholm, Tom Gorzolani, but they were not there, I think, this early on. I'm going to know a lot of names from this Pirates roster, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to guess who their starting pitcher was. I'm thinking. Nothing is immediately coming to mind, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get this one. Let's just scroll down and see what we've got. So the Pirates struck early for a 4-2 lead. And then it was 4-3, and then they scored late. Okay, let's dive into this one. All right, so the Pirates, or this is the Reds. Pokey Reese, he was with the Pirates at one point. I think he was also with Arizona? No, I'm thinking of somebody different. That was... Oh, who am I thinking of? Tony Womack. That's who I was thinking of. So Pokey Reese also played for the Pirates shortly after this. I did remember that. A couple of time Gold Glover, though. That's pretty interesting. This 2000 year, probably his second best year, because this year he was fairly playable offensively as well. So playing a bit of shortstop and second base. Known mostly for his defense. Pokey Reese, first-round draft pick. Finished his career in Boston. This was the year that they won the World Series, right? Yes, that's right. So he is World Series champion. Nice. Okay. Pokey Reese. Does that say that up here? Yep, 2004 World Series. Pokey Reese leading off for the Reds. Chris Steins. Somewhat familiar, but I don't think super familiar. Well, he also played for the Pirates. He was injured at the end of his career, so that stinks. He kind of went off on a sour note. Flipped around. Was this the same team as Johnny Damon? Was Johnny Damon on this team? Yeah, he was. Early Johnny Damon. Okay. So he was teammates with Johnny Damon. Played with Cincinnati. This was his last year in Cincinnati. Then he played for 4 different teams. He played for 5 different teams in 5 years. How did he end up making there? Actually, I want to go back to Pokey Reese, too, see if he was involved in any trades. Scott Service, he's the... Wait. Yeah, this is the... Oh, wait, no. This is not the same Scott Service as the Mariners manager now. Spelled... Different last name, spelled differently. David Cone. Yeah. Good pitcher. So he was involved in that trade. This is, once again, Chris Steins. Oh, Ken Griffey Jr. is in this game. We got his MLB debut in our very first episode. So this was 2000. This is his first year in Cincinnati. Had a pretty good year. Still was hitting 40 home runs. Scored 100 runs this season. Was an all-star. Playing solely center field. Nice. Second Ken Griffey game that we've gotten. Had a nice game here as well. Sean Casey, long time with the Tigers, short time with the Pirates. This is kind of where he started out. Had a good year this year. He hit well. I didn't know he was a career 300 hitter. I knew he was a very good hitter. I guess I didn't know he was quite that good. Three-time All-Star. Had 20 home runs this season. 315 batting average. Slugged .517. 902 OPS. How the heck was this guy not an All-Star this year? That's nuts. I want to say it was either... Yeah, it was definitely this 2006 year when he got thrown out at first base from left field. I'm completely sure it was that year because he had a really bad year that year. And it was partially because he was stinking it up with the Pirates early on that year. Brian Hunter. Decently long career. This is kind of towards the back end of his career. He was involved in a trade with Colorado this year. Who was he traded for? Minor leaguer. Let's see if there's any other names. CJ Nitkowski, very active on Twitter. Also in the Brad Ausmus trade. Jose Lima also. He was pretty polarizing, if I remember correctly. Oh, yeah, he had one of those really weird, random Cy Young years, kind of flanked by a pretty rough career. Brian Hunter. Dimitri Young. This was towards the back end of his Cincinnati career. Did go to an All-Star game in Detroit. I do remember his name probably with the Nationals, I would say. I don't think I was super conscious of these Tigers teams, but I do remember at least his name mentioned probably with this Nationals team. Did hit some home runs. 2000, good year. 303 hitter, slugged almost 500, 18 home runs, so a little bit kind of towards the middle of his average in the career. Michael Tucker. This guy went to Longwood University. It's kind of a deep cut. How many other players come out of here? Not a lot, I was going to say. He's the only one to make the major leagues out of Longwood. Okay. Michael Tucker was also in that Kansas City team. He was on Kansas City for a while. He was traded next year. 15 home runs. Is that a career high? Yeah, it is. Had a good year. Couple off year, or not off years, but one off years in Atlanta. Jumped around a good bit. Scott Sullivan, pitcher. Late 90s, long time with Cincinnati. Good pitcher. Relief pitcher. Probably not a closer, but like a low leverage, end of game type of guy. Seemed like he did the job pretty well. Pretty good numbers here. This is out of the bullpen. Yeah, that's solely out of the bullpen. 106 innings out of the bullpen. That's a lot. Maybe a long reliever type of guy. Mike Bell. David Bell's brother. Okay. Did they play on this? Was David Bell on this team? No, he was never on the... Who am I thinking of? Boone. I'm thinking of Brett Boone. That's who I'm thinking of. My dad. Ooh. Ooh, okay. This was his only year. So, when was his... When's our day? This is October 1st, so this is not too long afterwards. He made his debut in July. 31 at-bats. He had 2 home runs. Hey! 222. Hey, for for only playing 19 games, he made the most of it, I feel like. The most of it in the regards of, like, he didn't sustain a longer career. Sitting 300 at this point. That's pretty good. Good for him. John Ridling. Shorter career. This was towards the beginning of his career. Wow, he had a good start to his career. Then he fell off towards the end. Debut August 30th. Wait, when's our day? We're in September, right? September 8th. So he made his debut like just not even very long before this. Let's see these game logs here real quick. Game logs. So this was his 5th career game. At this point, he was sporting a 1.59 ERA. The only game he really pitched, I mean, it's not really poorly. I mean, he gave up 3. He gave up 3 runs in this game. None of them were earned, though. Okay. So this was early on in his shorter career, but he was good in that time. Riedling. Is it Riedling? Riedling. John Riedling. Benito Santiago. Good player. I forget that it makes sense why it's forgettable that he was with Pittsburgh. It seemed like the Reds and the Royals were kind of, like, you think, I can't really make a good comparison to it now, but it seems like a lot of Reds also played for the Royals at this time and vice versa. So this was his only year with the Reds. It was not a good year for him, respectively. Former Rookie of the Year, won some Gold Gloves, some Silver Sluggers. Made an All-Star game in 2002 with the Giants. This was the year they went to the World Series and lost, right? Yeah. It was against the Angels. Benito Santiago. Yep, very good player. Chris Sexton. Not a lot of time. This was his last year. This was his last game. One of his last games. What's our day again? 23rd? September 8th. Okay. So he didn't play much after this. Miami University of Ohio. Same school as Ben Roethlisberger. Chris Sexton. So he started most every game after this. Oh, this was game 1 of a doubleheader, it looks like. Okay. We'll have to take a look at that in a minute. So he played a good bit after this. I mean, it looks like he was starting most games, too. So this was by far not his last game, necessarily. Began with Colorado. He was actually drafted by the Reds. Cincinnati guy. Oh, that's nice. So this was probably just kind of him getting the luxury of going back home for kind of the end of his career. Scott Williamson. All-Stars Rookie of the Year. Oh, this guy won the Rookie of the Year. Who did he win it over? 1999. Chris Benson. Wow. This is a rough rookie class. He kind of just won it by default because there was like nobody else that was really half decent. Was he a reliever? Yeah, he had to have been a reliever. Yeah, no way Chris Benson was winning Rookie of the Year with a 4.07 ERA. Like, these guys were, like, fine. Preston Wilson, Florida, had a pretty good year. Yeah, it makes sense, because he was a closer, it looks like. Saved 19 games as Rookie of the Year. Went on to Boston later. Any other teams, notably, that he played for? These Reds teams were not great. Boston, World Series champion? No. Doesn't count him. Doesn't count him on that World Series. Wait, why is that the case? 04, Boston, they won the World Series. Yes. So is he listed on this team? Yes, he was. But I guess maybe he didn't get a ring? I don't know. Huh. Did he pitch in the playoffs? No, he didn't. Maybe you have to pitch in the playoffs to have that the World Series on your page. I guess that's probably the case. So Scott Williamson was the starting pitcher in this game. Hector Mercado, he was drafted out of Puerto Rico. Short career, not a lot of games. How many games? When was his first game? Early on in 2000. Then he was probably sent down, I would assume. Oh, he played in Japan. Hector Mercado. Wow, look at this. He was all over the place. So 2000, yeah, most of his time was in AAA. He had a good year in AAA. It makes sense he got the call up, then ended up in Philly. Hector Mercado, left-handed pitcher. Alex Ochoa. Yep, Ochoa. This was kind of the end of his career. Actually, it looks like his best year. 316 hitter. Wow, he had a good year this year. Not a lot of, not a full season of sample size, but this was by far his best year. Alex Ochoa, third-round draft pick of the Orioles. Let's go back to Pokey Reese for a second. I want to see if he was involved in any trades, or at least what that was, or maybe he was just a free agent. Pokey Reese, no. Scott Hatteberg. Is this the... Yeah, it is. That's the Moneyball guy. Wow. So this was before his career in Boston. Oh, so this was like when he was... Like, he just, couldn't figure it out. He was hurt. Huh, okay. I thought that Pookie Reese was involved in some trade with, like, a notable name somewhere. Okay, so there's your Reds. Now let's go down to the Pirates. Wow, this team was bad. This team was not good. Adrian Brown, 48th round draft pick. Kind of middle of his career. Best year by far. It's not saying much. Didn't play super long. Adrian Brown, outfielder. Jason Kendall and Brian Giles are like the only two notable guys on this team. Even looking at their pitchers, there's like nobody else. John Wayner. Oh, John Wayner. Okay. We'll get to look at him. He's an analyst for the Pirates right now. Jason Kendall, first-round draft pick. Was an all-star this year. Yeah, he had a great year. Really good catcher. Good defensive catcher as well. That played a part into that. 41.7 WAR, just kind of on the outskirts of, he's like Hall of very good. OPS plus, you can kind of see here, like this is the area of the steroid era when power was like at an all-time high. But for all it was, I mean, he was good. I think the All-Star game was like 05, I think. I think the All-Star game was in 05. Maybe it was 04. I think he was in that. Maybe? 04. Oh, that didn't do anything for me. Yeah, it's just like extended game logs. The Pirates hosted the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby at some point. I want to I don't know if Jason Kendall was around at that point. Maybe, I'm not sure. Brian Giles, one of the brighter spots. Wow, he had a lot of WAR as well. A lot of home runs. Look at this stretch. 39, 35, 37, 38. Kind of a... And, like, again, like, these are incredible numbers by today's standards, but these numbers were, like, not even close to the numbers that, like, Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were putting up around this time. Which is just crazy. Giles... Yeah, this was a great year. 315. look at these. Yeah, he had a great. Oh my gosh, his OPS was over 1,000 in 3 of 4 years here, and it like practically was 1,000 here. Brian Giles, heck of a player. Walk-off grand slam, one of the cooler moments. This was okay. So again, this is 2000, so this was before PNC Park. So 2001, it would have been the year that Giles hit the walk-off grand slam when they were down to, I think it was the Astros, if I remember correctly. John Vanderwall, we've seen him before. He pinch hit for our guy Tim Laker in our first player spotlight. Yep, Montreal. And then, so this was his only full year with Pittsburgh. Played a full year. 24 homers. Wow, by far the best year that he had. Yeah. Kind of just like he didn't hit for a lot of power. Huh. Why is his OPS plus so high? Doesn't seem like that would be very good comparative to other league average players at this time. Also was with Cincinnati. John Vanderwall. Enrique Wilson. Oh my, that's a number. That is a number right there. This is the type of players the Pirates were accumulating over this course of time. He was with Pittsburgh for not very long. Traded by Cleveland with Alex Ramirez for Will Cordero. I don't think he amounted to do a whole lot, no. Not really. Enrique Wilson. So then we got this guy for him, who was meh. I mean, he's good. He's okay. Actually, that's not too bad. Bullpen guy. I don't remember him necessarily. Those bullpen guys. I remember a lot of the starters from those like mid-2000s Pirates. Warren Morris. Second year. Not great. Not great at all. 15 home runs as Rookie of the Year. Oh, he was third in Rookie of the Year. Oh, that's right. We saw his name. I just didn't recognize his name. Finished ahead of Chris Benson. Then behind Williamson, who pitched in this game as well. Alex Hernandez. Man. 27 career games, hit 1 home run. September 1st. Okay, so we're like close to his debut. Gotta keep checking our game. What's our game? September 8th. So a week before this game, Alex Hernandez made his MLB debut and subsequently would play just not even a month's worth of baseball. 4th round draft pick. Alex Hernandez. Abraham Nunez. Another random Pirate. Not a good hitter. Very bad hitter, actually. Just a handful of home runs. He had more triples than home runs in his career. Yikes. Todd Ritchie was the starter today. Not very good. Former first-round draft pick of the Twins. Started with Minnesota, got shipped off to Pittsburgh. Actually had a good 1999, and then that was about it. Yeah, this 99 season was his best year. How did he get there? Josh Fogg. Oh, Kip. Oh, wait. Traded by. Oh, we got Josh Fogg and Kip Wells. Huh. Oh, so he was straight up released by the Twins, and then he signed with the Pirates. Looks like he came back to the Pirates later. Maybe. I guess maybe he just didn't make it back to the MLB. Todd Ritchie, Starting pitcher, John Wehner. Let's get on him. He's a great analyst. I love John Wehner. He explains things so well. Entire career with Pittsburgh. Never hit for a lot of power. He didn't hit for much at all, but, I mean, he was just... Oh, he played in the playoffs. He was on the 92 team. I didn't realize that. He never played much. Let's see what he did in those playoffs. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Okay. Won a World Series with Florida in the span of 2 years that he was there. That was the Indians in 90. Is that right? 97? Yeah, I think. Because then it was the Yankees, I think, in 03. Wehner. How did he get to Florida? Free agent. John Wehner. Indiana University of Bloomington. So this was towards the end of his career. He didn't have much going this season. He's hitting 300. 300. Had a home run. 1 of 4. Richie Loisel. Just another random reliever. Had a good stretch. Oh, these 3 years were pretty good. This year was probably his best. 29 saves. Okay, so he was the closer at this point. Scott Sauerbeck. Also a Miami, Ohio guy. Second full season. Had a good rookie year. Very good rookie year. But did not follow it up super well. Handful of saves here. Oh, he's on that 06 Cleveland team for at least a little bit. So I watched them. Pat Mears. End of his career. Ugh, yikes, bad numbers. Some okay numbers here and there. Oh, this was 2001, so 2000. Again, my brain just kind of reverts to 2001 because that was the year I was born. Hit 300 and it's 21 games here, so not much. This was a decent year for him. Definitely not as good as his time with Minnesota, though. And Mike Williams, he was one of our better pitchers, even though he wasn't very good because he was our closer. Good 2002. This year he was good. Yeah, this was a good little stretch. I mean, the problem when you're the Pirates closer is you're just not gonna get in many games. But the time that he did, it seemed like he did fine. 72 appearances. Yeah, like not even all of these are like save situations. Like they're just trying to get him work in other ways. Just trying to keep him fresh. 2002 and 2003 he was an all-star. Again, this was towards the end of his career. Yeah, he was fine. Like again, a 4.45 ERA as a reliever is bad. Just straight up bad, but for the Pirates it was like, oh, that's like, you know, it's good enough. And again, he was not pitching a lot in save situations. Okay, so let's see how this game turned out. So Scott Williamson actually started this game. Okay. Gave up 4 runs, 3 earned, in not a lot of time. Mercado came in later. So these guys kind of held it down for a little bit, and then John Riedling didn't really keep it close at the end. Todd Ritchie, hey, that's a quality start. It's fine. Scoreless the rest of the way. Only 2 hits given up between Sauerbeck and Williams. So Williams in a non-save situation coming in. Again, it's exactly what I just said. Like probably just getting him some work. Let's see who our good hitters were. Pokey Reese had 2 hits. Griffey, like these are your suspects in this lineup. I guess Dimitri Young maybe one off and on, but like Pokey Reese, Ken Griffey Jr., Sean Casey are your guys in this lineup. Benito Santiago just did not have a good year this year. So 2 hits apiece for these guys. On the Pirate side, of course, Jason Kendall went 3 for 5. And then just random Warren Morris. Had a 2-hit game, a couple RBIs for Vanderwall. Must have been a home run, I would assume. Actually, oh, was this? Oh, look at that. So this was the only career home run for Alex Hernandez. Yeah, it was. Okay, so let's find that. We'll find the play-by-play here. All right, here we go. So Nunez scores on a wild pitch. Nice. And then Jason Kendall, RBI double. Home run by Sean Casey. Alex Hernandez, his only career home run, came off of the eventual Rookie of the Year, leading off the bottom of the 4th inning to take a 3-2 lead. Hey, there you go. If you're going to do it, I guess that's how you're going to do it. Jason Kendall knocks out Scott Williamson out of the game with another double, a second double of the game. Ken Griffey Jr. had a double into the right field corner to bring it back within a run. Nothing going on in the middle parts of the game, and then Pirates kind of put it away at the end. Adrian Brown, a double. Vanderwall, I guess it was a double. 2 RBI double. Yep. Unearned runs. E3, that would have been on, was that Casey playing first base? Yeah, it was John Casey playing first base. Okay. Well, it stinks that I didn't really know a whole lot about this Pirates team. Obviously, it's before I was born, but I mean, again, it just shows you how like abysmal these guys are. It's just random. Like, I mean, Alex Hernandez had his only career home run in this game, and he played for like 27 games. John Vanderwall, maybe like a somewhat recognizable name. These are really the only 2 names that you can recognize in this lineup: Jason Kendall and Brian Giles, and that's the whole thing. Like, if you can pitch around these guys, then like they're free outs everywhere else. Whereas even if on this Reds team that wasn't amazing, you got Pokey Reese, who was a good hitter, Ken Griffey Jr., All-Star this year, I believe. We saw Sean Casey, Dimitri Young was fine, Benito Santiago, maybe a shell of himself, but still like a good player. Let's see what the records ended up this season. The Reds finished around 500. Yeah, they didn't really do much. Finished second in the NL Central. I guess it was behind the Cardinals or the Cubs? That was Cardinals. Okay. Cubs were really bad. Wow. So the Cardinals ran away with the division. And then the Pirates, we saw just a glimpse of that, but I want to kind of check this for sure. I don't think Lloyd McClendon was there yet. No, this was Gene Lamont. Last year at Three Rivers Stadium, Aramis Ramirez was on this team. KY was on this team too. Okay. Any other names? Mike Benjamin. Francisco Cordova. Bronson Arroyo just randomly before he was actually good. Chris Benson. What was our starting? Oh, my. Chris Benson had a good year. 25-year-old rookie. Mike Williams is the closer. Jose Silva was okay as well. I mean, not this year. I mean, yeah, it's just my whole mindset with the Pirates is like league average is good in my mind, and that's still kind of the case because my worldview of baseball is kind of skewed because of how awful these Pirates teams were when I first started watching. So I have forever been thinking, oh, if you're league average, then you're very good. But that's not the case. It's just that you're league average. And most of these guys are just straight up bad. And trying to justify them, it just doesn't work. So it's kind of the problem that I have with identifying just, talent and stuff. It's not that I can't identify talent. It's just that I think I overblow it sometimes. Like, oh, this guy was very good. Now, Brian Giles, I think you could say was like very good. Maybe not in this era, but if you put him in a vacuum, like, you're going to look at it and say, like, yeah, Brian Giles was one of the best players in baseball in these couple of years around the late 90s and then early 2000s once they made the switch to PNC Park. So then, let me see the schedule. Let's see how close this was to the end of Three River Stadium being demolished. So our game is the 8th. So this was the first game of a homestand. They played another game this day, and they won again. Williams actually pitched at the end of this one, too. And then a long road trip. It's like a 12-game road trip almost. And then they would come back, and then in true fashion, they'd lose the first, or they won the first 2 games of the final home series, and then they lost the final game at Three River Stadium. Day game. Dang. Well, there you have it. 2000s Pirates, 2000s Reds. Neither team very good, but I guess still kind of a rivalry game. One of the final games at Three Rivers Stadium. Does it tell me attendance? It doesn't even tell me attendance. First game of doubleheader. See second game. Oh, maybe this is what the attendance. Oh, yes. 26,000 in attendance. I guess that was kind of just trying to be nostalgic at that point. Because the Pirates were 19 games under 500 at the early set of September. Well, there you have it. That is the 7-3 victory for my Buccos over the Cincinnati Reds on a September 8th game in the year 2000, the turn of the millennium, the final season at Three River Stadium before PNC Park was built in 2001. Good little game. Again, kind of sucks that I didn't really know a lot of these names, but again, just tells you all you need to know about my early Pirates fandom. Thanks for watching, all you baseball maniacs, you baseball freaks that love to dive into the depths of baseball lore in terms of just checking out Baseball Reference. We type in random on this series, and hey, we see what we get. So we got a good one today. We got a little bit more of some recognizable names, at least. I would say probably I could recognize at least 30 to 35% of these names, maybe even closer to 40. So good stuff there today, and we'll be back for another one of these episodes at some point. Thanks for watching. This is Zany Baseball on your Baseball Reference Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.